This episode of the podcast is brought to you by the UK's #1 coral selling website, prestigereef.co.uk and reefdork.etsy.com for all your 3D printed aquarium accessory needs. What's up, YouTube? Hello, everybody. Welcome to and Spotify video podcast now, Apple Podcasts, all that. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Prestige Reef Dork Show. For some reason, I'm talking into my microphone.
I know. Why are you looking up? It's weird.
I don't know. I've moved it slightly, so it just caught my eye. Anyway, the camera's here. Hello, people. Prestige Reef Dork Show. My name is Alex. I'm Reef Dork. And with me, as always, is Ryan from the UK's #1 coral selling website, prestigereef.co.uk. Ryan,
I like how you said it twice in like 2 minutes.
I know, yeah.
I think the new introduction is Ryan from Prestige Reef, probably.
No. It's reinforcement, Ryan.
People I see. Okay, fine by me.
Like when I was a trainee early in my career, every time I did something good, I'd tell my boss, and he knew. We both I wasn't like trying to hide it.
Oh, I bet you did.
I was being very obvious about it, but I just wanted to underline it. Every time I did something good, I was like, just so you know, I've just done this. So, you know, the UK's #1 coral selling website. And then people are like, oh, it is. Yeah. Isn't that? Yeah. Okay. I'll go and buy some corals off him.
Nice. Yeah. Go do that.
Yeah. No. Stay here and watch. So today, usual 2 hours of nonsense, frankly. But I've been doing cable management, so I just want to talk a little bit about that. But Ryan.
That's what I was going to do. I was going to bring a pair of sunglasses so that you could no longer see my bored eyes. So that when you talk about cable management, I was going to put the sunglasses on. I've just realized I've forgotten.
Just with like goggly eyes on them, or
yeah, just so literally so you can't see what my eyes are. So I'm a bit like this.
Unbelievable.
No. Well,
but last week I talked for about an hour and a half about my week in reefing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what about you? And you were like, well,
we're not switching this week. I always start usually. Plus, yours is way more interesting than me at the moment. Having said that, so this week I got new corals in from Indonesia. I think there was a permit thing. They're waiting for permits to... this might not be factual. I'm not sure.
I saw them pop up in a couple of shops actually this week.
Yes. So all the shops seem to have got like coral from Indonesia this week. And I think it was to do with permits because no one had had them for a while, I don't think. So those did... Whenever you get a box of corals, you never know, firstly, really what's going to be in it. And secondly, how much of it's going to survive. Because there is usually... some which just literally when they arrive you pick up the bag and it's like brown and you're like, yeah, that did not survive. I had a couple of those. They were a couple of euphyllias, but other than that it was a pretty good box. I got some lovely millipora in, and I haven't had those for a while, have I? Yeah. Did
you text me photos of them?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. Actually on the website now as well, but because that's what I've been doing this week. So this week, I have been putting an effort in to make sure, firstly, the website is up to date with regards to what is and isn't in stock. I want to get most of... I'm trying to get all of the pictures so that they're done like in the professional way. You know how like I've got a mix of some new and some old ones. And that, like the fact that the old ones are on there doesn't make the website look very professional. But there is a reason for that. The corals have to look good enough, if you see what I mean, to... They have to look like the perfect frag.
Yeah.
For me to take a picture of them. Oh yeah, those are the ones. Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's something. The first thing that I thought when I saw this is something that needs explanation. I know there's a reason.
Yeah.
But if I saw that frag, I would think, God, you can see the super glue. It's only just been cut. I'm not buying that.
I do that for a reason. I want every single frag on the website to look exactly the same. So if you look on all the pictures, all the frag plugs are always white. So that's the reason. Because if I have some brown or some green or some like half mottled where they're dirty, it doesn't give you that clean look.
And the other thing is that photo will be there for 6 months probably.
What do you mean?
So as in that coral will be there for 6 months. So that same photo, you don't update the photo.
No.
Because this is one problem that all coral farms or online vendors seem to have.
Yeah.
Is that if you were to take a photo of the coral, to show what it looks like, exactly what it looks like, all you do is take photos all day long. Every month you'd be updating a new one.
Yes.
So
the other reason is I tried to make it so that the frag of the picture is an accurate representation of every single frag going forward. So essentially, I will let let's put it this way: if I've got the thing with 2 prongs on it, I will let them grow to look like it. You understand what I'm trying to say? So it looks like the picture, because then I don't have to keep updating it.
They're not always going to look the same, are they? Corals grow differently, and
yeah, of course, but people expect either the same as the picture or better. So let's put it this way: if you've got a frag that's like this big, I'm not going to send you one that's this big, half the size, because then people feel like they've been missold something. So that's the reason that some of the other corals haven't had their picture taken, because I've not fragged those ones to look like the perfect frag, if you see what I mean. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
And part of it is because of laziness. Because I didn't get around to do it. But I've literally done loads of them this weekend. And if you actually look, you obviously looked a minute ago, the homepage is I think is all done. I think the first 2.5 pages of the SPS is all done, and I think most of the soft corals done. But the soft corals are the hardest ones to take pictures of.
Right.
Try and get a cool looking picture of Xenia in the same style as all the other frags you do. It just moves around, doesn't it? So it's not that easy to do.
Last week you talked about, I don't know if you said on the live stream or if you just told me, I can't remember now, but you said you were getting a rainbow lobophilia in.
Yes. That is on the website. Yeah. So
green lobo.
Yeah, I would say it's.
To be fair, actually,
I didn't put it down as a rainbow.
No, I know you didn't. You pink green, you called it. 3 colours there, actually. Most corals that come in that are labelled rainbow, 2 colours at most.
So it wasn't what I was expecting as a rainbow colour, but it is 3 colours, which is what usually a rainbow. And it is actually a nice piece. And it's quite large, but that's the problem. I'm going to start putting sizes on like the specific pieces like that.
You can see the frag plug if you look carefully, but it's hard. That's a big.
Oh no, that's not a frag plug. That's the base what it was stuck on. It's about the size of the palm of my hand.
Right.
So it's much bigger than a frag plug. It's quite large, that piece.
Can I give you some constructive feedback?
Is it because the background is blurry?
Your aperture is too low.
Yeah. You know, like, I don't want to annoy you. Keep asking you how to use the damn camera. Because
you text me anytime you want, honestly.
Because you know what it's like. Every time I use it, I have to relearn how to use it, which is so frustrating. But
that's a 5-second fix.
Yeah, because as I take pictures and stuff, I'm moving some of the dials around, and I'm like, I don't know what I've just changed.
Just mashing buttons on the camera. See what happens.
So that was fun. A few people asked for the Milliporas, the actual whole colonies of Milliporas, but there was too much interest where people wanted like frags of it. So and to be fair, it's still like they're all, the polyps are out on them. The frags are all doing fine at the moment. So yeah, that's that. With regards to the quarantine fish are about the same. The tank upstairs got slightly warm today for the first time. I don't know if you
the tank upstairs, the quarantine tank. Sorry,
the quarantine tank. Even actually, to be fair, the coral farm also is the first time I've had to put the air conditioning on to cooling rather than it's normally always on heating. And then the tank's got to 26, and they're normally at 25.5. So I'm like, right, air conditioning. So whereas I know they can get up much higher than that, I just can't be bothered with leaving them and then forgetting about it by accident. So that's that.
What temperature?
They're normally at 25.5 and they got to 26, and I'm like, they never ever go over 25.5, so the room's getting too warm.
That was just today.
It was today and yesterday.
Okay, it wasn't that hot yesterday. It got cut today, I thought. It
was 24 here, and obviously remember they've got a lot of there's a lot of equipment and stuff in there. So so.
Any ill effects of that? All fine.
Oh no, not half a degree. No. I
thought you said once. I thought it was 26.5. Sorry.
No, the main reason I did it is because if I don't immediately switch it as soon as I notice and I get notified, I'll forget basically. And then if I forget for a few days, there's a time where I change it into auto. This is probably boring for listening to, but it will automatically now cool the room every time it gets over 25 degrees.
That's good. So you don't have a heater in there? You must have a heater in the tanks.
The air conditioning does. Oh, there are heaters in the tanks as well.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's the thing. I have to try to set it so the air conditioning doesn't trigger the heaters, because otherwise they're fighting each other. If you see what I mean?
Yeah. Just double electricity,
and
it's not like you can't.
Very expensive.
You can't put a fan on to cool it either because you don't have an auto top up, and you've got a lid on it as well. I think
there is an auto top up on.
Oh, isn't there?
Which what are we talking about?
The quarantine tank.
Oh no, the quarantine tank. No, so that doesn't have an auto top up. But in the last month, I've not topped up even once because it's got
no.
It's got.
But that's what I mean. It's got a lid on it, and so you couldn't cool it down with a fan because it wouldn't evaporate. It's got a lid on. You don't.
I have actually got a fan, which if I take the lid off, it's just there's too many fish in there that jump.
You then have to put a cover on. You'd have to put an auto top off and a fan. That's a lot of faff, isn't it?
So. I mean, the very, very worst thing that will happen if I know it's going to get colder again soon, but if it gets to like 27 degrees, 28 degrees, I know they're fish, they're not as badly affected, but they are expensive fish. So I will probably literally move the tank downstairs because I have air conditioning in the kitchen for the other tank.
You're looking safe for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. The problem is they have to quarantine until I think mid-June, so that's when it will start warming up
into summer by then. Yeah, okay. How are they going? Did you take the copper out in the end? You were talking about
copper's completely out, so they're all fine and they're in there, and there's no disease in that tank, it appears. So, there's the dual tang. If it gets even slightly stressed, it will get some sort of like showing of disease. And there's nothing, so it's like a canary in a coal mine. Yeah. So that's I'm pretty sure that is done now with regards to parasites. I now just have to wait for the Waterbox. Actually, I literally love the look of the Waterbox now. So I am like progressing into a more positive. I love the aquascape of it. I don't even know why, because it's not. Have you seen it? I can't remember.
The Waterbox, yeah. Oh no, not since you've redone it. No.
Oh yeah, so I love the new aquascape of it. So I am excited, and I part of me goes, I can put coral in there now, but I just think, I'll just wait for the fish, because otherwise then I might have other things to battle, like algae or whatever. I just think let's just keep it simple, put the fish in, then add the coral. So yeah.
So are you enjoying not having to, or not having to, but you're enjoying not posting videos and photos and stuff?
Am I? I have a feeling inside me now. You get an urge to put out a video. You probably have experienced this. I have that feeling now, partly because I actually the more when I put a video out, I sell more corals. It's as simple as that. So there is an incentive for me to do it. And I essentially I'm always honest with everyone. I've got lazy. It's as simple as that. I lost my heart for making videos. You have to actually want to do it. Otherwise, you just put out rubbish. And I mean, some of the stuff that I put out is borderline anyway. So, but yeah. And obviously, because I got the new box coral in, I've got new stuff to sell, which obviously there's a vast cost to that. And I've also got another box coming on Tuesday. And I've got a whole box of mushrooms this time coming in. Okay.
How come you're buying corals? You went through a spell of not buying corals. What's changed?
It keeps me accountable. Genuinely, that is
because you have to sell them.
So there's two things. Firstly, so when the box corals come in, I have to set up the saw and I have to frag them all up. So if I've set it up already, I might as well frag the other corals which I've not fragged, because I have to do it. If you see what I mean. So I usually spend the afternoon fragging other corals, which I've then, which is good because I've not done them for ages. And then the new corals come in and I frag those up. So it forces me to actually do it. You know what I'm like?
I've had an idea, Ryan.
Okay.
So when I'm at work, obviously I am an employee. I work for a company. Okay. Yes. And so if I don't do any work in a week, my boss will sit me down and say, Alex, mate, you've not done enough. You've not hit your target. What are you going to do next week to make up for it?
Okay. Yes.
And every year we have an annual appraisal. In fact, we have a mid-year review as well.
Okay.
When we sit down and talk about what's going right, what's going wrong, what I can do better, what I'm doing well, all that sort of stuff. How about
I'm not sure I'd like one of those reviews. I don't think I've ever had one of those.
You and I have a monthly appraisal.
A monthly appraisal?
Yeah, where I sit down and say, so Brian, these are the targets you set yourself last week. Yeah. How have you got on with that?
Oh, is this something we're doing on the live stream, or is this something we're doing?
We can do it on the live stream if you want. Yeah, either. And then every time you say, oh yeah, I did loads of fragging last night. Can you just show me some pictures? I've got no reason not to believe you, but just show me.
Oh, trust me, you got plenty of reason not to believe
exactly,
me.
Yeah.
I go through stages where I really, really enjoy fragging, and there's sometimes where people think, oh, it must be so much fun to frag corals all day. It is not fun at all after you've fragged 1,000 pieces.
I don't find it that much fun to frag my own corals, and I don't do that much fragging. So occasionally, yeah, but not when your corals get overgrown. It's just a chore, isn't it? And when it's your job.
But so I am making progress, and the reason I couldn't frag the corals was because there was so much coral, and obviously I've sold big chunks of it, so I've now made some room, and I'm filling those in with smaller pieces. So that's good. There's something that I find really, really interesting as well. If you have one frag of something, people don't buy it. Don't know why. When people come to the farm to look at corals, they don't buy single pieces. If you have 6 frags of that same coral, they'll buy one of them. I don't know why. That's
interesting.
I think either people think he's only got one, so I don't want to ask because that might be his one, or they think I don't know what it is.
People aren't that selfless. I reckon it's because it looks good. It's like it's neat and clean and it's glowing and it catches your eye better.
It could be that, or it could be because it catches your eye. If you've got 6 of them, you've got far more that you see.
Yeah. Whereas if there's just one in the middle of nowhere, you can gloss over it easily.
People struggle. This is not an exaggeration. People struggle sometimes to pick corals in the coral farm because there is an abundance of choice. So when people come and they don't know what they're looking at, normally when you go to I actually found the same when I went to Moss End the other day. There were so many corals there that to narrow it down to the exact one that I wanted was actually quite hard for me.
By 10.
Pardon?
By 10.
Well, yes, true. Yeah. Whereas people come into the coral farm, they're like, oh, I like that, I like that, I like that, I like that. And then by the end of it, they've forgotten the first 3 things that they liked.
Yeah.
So when people come now, I actually keep a list of all the things they like on my phone, and then go, "Did you get everything you wanted?"
Yeah.
So,
do you want me to bag these 15 up as well?
Yeah, true. But
because Moss End do that, they line up all their corals.
Yeah,
they're all in a row, and they do little bundles as well that you can buy packs together, like a discount or whatever.
Yeah,
so they're not a mystery box. They're a fixed price.
Yeah.
Mixed pack. But the trouble it says there's no swapsies, so you can't go well, I like those 5, but can you swap that one for that one?
Yeah. I've had people come to the coral farm and they're like, "Can I come pick up my mystery box?" I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." And then when they get there, it's already boxed.
Yeah.
Because they were under the impression that they get to choose their mystery box.
That's not a mystery box.
That's not a mystery box. That's a pick and mix.
Yeah. But it sounds like you've kind of had a productive week with you. If we were doing if we were doing our monthly review, you'd go away. You'd be coming into it feeling good. You'd be like, right, I've done everything.
Yes, but then you'd tell me all the things I'd done wrong. So
yeah, of course, yeah.
It'd be 10% me feeling good and 90% of you going, "You haven't worked hard enough."
Well, it's just like you need to be you don't want to be way outside your comfort zone. You need to be but you don't want to be in the comfort zone. You need to be in the stretch zone, I think it's called.
Yeah.
So you need to be slightly pushing.
Yeah, I'm
going to do this. I'm going to set every 4th Prestige Reef Dork show as a monthly appraisal.
Oh, good. I'll put
my suit on. I've got a serious voice.
What I can say is I've been more productive this week than I've been productive in a long time. I think. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. As I said, I'm always very honest with you. It may come down to laziness. It may also come down to people lose interest in their tanks sometimes, don't they? Like you will lose interest in your tank. Well, for me, it's just a big tank. I know it obviously earns me money, but I still have exactly the same feelings that you have about your tank. It's just more serious for me.
And you don't do that
a lot.
and you don't just do that for pleasure. which is what all of us do. You do it for pleasure and because it's a job.
Yeah, so it's almost like doubly because it's
Exactly.
turned into a job. So I get people all the time going, oh, it must be the most wonderful thing ever. And trust me, it is wonderful. Like some of the things it offers me, but it's not what you imagine it to be. So for all the people out there that are thinking about starting a coral farm, and some of the people that I do consultations with, I literally put them off starting a coral farm to go, this is the reality, because it's not what people think it is.
Well, so people, every now and then, someone will ask if I ever want to start a local fish shop.
Yeah.
And I think that the dream sounds fantastic, but I think the reality is you're going to be cleaning tanks all day long and testing water.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was only there very briefly, but I helped move. There's a shop moving at the moment from one location to another. And I went into that shop today and they went, oh, do you mind helping move some tanks? And I went, yeah, all right, because I know the guy very well. And I went to the new shop location and I just thought this would be the perfect time to all the things that are causing you trouble now, while you're building the new shop, put all these things in place, put pipes in that run water so that you can just turn a valve and then you can do a water change with it. Those are the things that need to be thought of if you're going to start a shop. Because if you don't make it easy for yourself from the beginning, it's not going to get any easier.
6 months down the line, there'll be stuff everywhere. And
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was what my day was. I'm trying to think if there's anything else of interest. Not particularly. As I'll be interested to see what those mushrooms turn out like. I was a bit disappointed with the previous mushroom box, although people were buying them.
A couple of nice ones, weren't there?
Yeah, there were a couple of nice ones, but I bought all of the ones. I bought one of every single type of mushroom that they had on their list, and I think probably like 50% of them were like brown, but they weren't labeled as brown. They were labeled as green.
No. Oh right, okay.
Whereas this time I ordered every single mushroom on the list that didn't say green. So
okay.
And I bet they're all green.
Yeah. That you had the Raja looking one. That seems to have disappeared from your website. Did you sell it all? That was quite nice.
What Raja one?
It looked like a Raja Rampage. Yeah.
Oh, that's the Space Invader mushroom. Yes.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, that sold. That was one of the nicer pieces, definitely.
So I'm not a mushroom fan generally. But
Jay's Real Reef has just asked if there are any recordias. That I have ordered, I think, 3 or 4 colonies of different coloured recordias. They might just all be purple or brown. I don't know. It just said recordia. So
there are some nice recordias. I've only ever tried recordia once and it died. Don't know what was wrong. Remember.
The Florida one, did you say it was a Florida that you had?
Can't remember. I think it was. I can't even remember what it looked like. It was about 6 years ago now.
Yuma's I used to struggle with, but I used to be able to keep the Floridas. But now I seem to be able to do fine with both of them. I'm not sure why.
I think it was orange and blue. Which one's that?
You get orange and blue of both types.
Oh,
it depends on the on how big the balls are, like the little. Yes, there you go. Basically, the Floridas have big uniform balls, and the Yumas have like sort of smaller, and they vary in size a bit more. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
The Floridas you don't see that often anymore, but they're definitely the nicer ones.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what I can't even remember why I struggled with it. I can't remember if I was testing or not. But I was always under the impression that recordias are a little bit more tricky than like a bog standard discosoma mushroom, whatever.
If they're in the right environment, they grow like crazy, and they will cover whole rocks. I remember I had a rock that was probably like this big, just covered in like the brightest orange recordias. And like that was like a show piece, if you see what I mean. But as I said, sometimes I've struggled with them. I don't know why. Sometimes people buy them and they just don't do well in their tank. But I'm not sure what I was doing so well in my previous tank. Probably high nutrients.
Yeah. What are they like first? Because like when I had, you often see mushrooms in a tank, the little blue ones that are just like 10 quid and they're bomb proof, and they go everywhere.
Yeah.
And what are Yumas like and recordias like? Do they spread the same or?
They can be like that if you get the right ones and they're happy. I used to make loads of money. This was a long time ago now, selling them because they would literally pop off. When I say loads and loads of money, it like
loads of money.
It was loads of money for like an 18-year-old that like if you see what I mean, that was trying to fund their hobby. Yeah. But yeah, they used to they were a good seller. This is the problem with having mushrooms in the farm. They leave the rocks and they move on to the frag racks. And once they're on the frag racks, you're basically done. They don't they're not easy to get off. If you try and like scrape them off, they don't the chances are you're going to harm them.
It's all soft corals do that. I bought a I can't remember what it was. It was like a toadstool the other day for a couple of weekends from Reef Keeper Moss End, and it stuck itself to the egg crate, and the guy had to like literally rip it off. It almost wouldn't come off.
With a toadstool, that's fine because they're pretty tough. You're not going to kill a toadstool by doing that. With a mushroom, you absolutely can easily. Really? Or it's an anemone. You wouldn't tear the foot of an anemone, would you?
True. Have you got would you have to like gently scrape it off one by one then, or?
So basically, if they go onto the rack, I don't sell them anymore. I just leave them there, and that's done. And then sometimes because there's coralline algae grow on the rack, you can sometimes chip it off, and it will come off in one piece. But generally speaking, it's not worth the hassle, unless it's something like expensive. So I'm gonna approach it a little bit differently. I think that would put them in too much light. I'm gonna put all the mushrooms in like a much lower light this time, because I think that's why they moved. They sort of went around underneath the rock, which suggested to me they weren't happy. So
I've got a just reminded me in the Reef Casa. I've got it's a really nice rock flower anemone. It was in my main tank for years.
Yeah, I saw it the other day.
Yeah, but when I put it in, it was on the rock in the perfect spot right at the front of the tank. Wicked. And obviously it was going to move fine. But now for the last 3 weeks, it's been constantly moving. It started for about 3 days. It went to the front of the tank and stuck on the front glass facing away from me. So I could just see its arse basically.
Yeah.
And then over the course of a week, it shuffled along to the corner, and then it moved up to the top corner. Yeah. Then it moved over to the return, the outlet, the return outlet. And now it's back in the top corner again. It's like, can you just sit still?
When was the last time you did a water change on that tank out of interest?
About a week ago, actually. And I did like an 80% water change.
So those usually don't move rock flower anemones.
Normally, what I found is they move. If they're not happy with where you put them, they'll move and then they'll find somewhere they're happy. So there's obviously something. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's obviously something because it's gone up high. I presume it wants more light, but I don't want to turn my lights up on that tank. But I presume it wants more light. Because it's stuck right literally on the top of the water surface. When I feed at the moment, I just drop a bit of food onto it, and it does this little grippy and grabs it and eats some mysis or whatever. Yeah. But I don't know. It'll probably go in my my new tank, my Red Sea Reef.
See, rock flowers are something you don't see that often. Your one bred, didn't it? You had multiple.
Yes, and that's the baby. So it was funny because I was breaking it down whilst you were there. I pulled that one off, and you were like, "Oh, there's a baby there." Yeah. And that baby now is in the tank in the Reef Casa. That stayed put. It's happy where it is, and it was right next to the other one. And the other one's like, "Nah, not having it." But and that's actually that's probably tripled in size. That baby now.
You usually see, so you see some of the uglier versions of rock flower anemones. I don't know what it is, but there are some really, really brightly coloured, like insane rock flower anemones. But I haven't seen them for years. Like years and years and years. So your one is like not to offend you. No. Compared to these ones is an average one. These ones were like crazy, like colorations of them. But I just haven't seen them probably for 10 years.
I've got a really nice one in the Waterbox that will end up in the Red Sea one, but it's just red. It's a red and blue. It's a really nice red and blue, but it's nothing special. But I did have originally Reef Dreams in Winchester when it was. I mean, that was how long ago it was. They got in some really nice ones, and I bought 1 or 2 from them. The nicest one disappeared and died, annoyingly. But every now and then you see some spectacular ones. There's one in the cade that Jamie was like, "What's that?" Because it's so massive. It doesn't look like a rock flower anemone.
Yeah.
It's about 6-8 inches across. It's huge. That when it was in the shop looked unreal. Yeah. And then when I got it home, different lights or whatever, it was like, "Oh, it's all right."
Yeah. But so going back to obviously about mushrooms moving with regards to pretty much any LPS or SPS, you put that coral there, it doesn't move. It doesn't sting other things, and you can always sell it. And as long as you keep it alive, it's good. Mushrooms are a bit of a risk because if you don't sell them quickly enough, they might let go and float around or whatever. So But I did well from the previous mushroom box, even though, as I said, probably about half of them went onto the racks and floated around and did whatever they want. So I'm hoping that now I'm a bit more prepared that they'll do better this time. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
Is that your?
I think is my week in reefing. Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
Give us a bit more about you mentioned briefly the water box and the scape and all that.
Yes.
How's it looking?
I can literally show it to you if you want, but
yeah, show us.
No, can I show you?
Don't if you don't want to, because
I can. But the problem is, if I unplug, I can't take my microphone with me, so I'm only going to have to be able to use the microphone.
Oh, Ryan's gone. Good news, everybody. We can't hear him. But what that does mean is that.
Oh, there you go. I'm unmuted. There we go. You're getting a little tour of my house now.
It is.
So, I mean, the glass is a little bit dirty, but this is like my new.
That looks nice.
So it's sort of like the glass is. I've left the glass to be dirty for the snails.
You can't see it.
It has like 3 prongs here, here, and here on this side, and then on this side, it's mainly like one big curve.
Yeah, like a cove. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a cove. And you see. It's all white, so that's a good sign. It's not covered in diatoms.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is it. So I'm going to go back and plug my microphone in again.
But that's what. So that looks really nice. That's why when I saw it, I don't know, a month ago, it looked banging. Even though there's nothing in it. And actually, to be fair, and you said when you did the last scape, you kind of rushed it and you were like, "Oh, I need to get a video. Let's do the scape."
Yeah.
And I didn't mind the scape last time, to be fair. But that looks much nicer. That looks designed.
It is much nicer.
That looks deliberate.
Yeah, and I think I said this, but have I plugged my microphone back in?
I'm not sure you have.
Let me put it. Audio.
Talk amongst yourself, guys.
Is that better?
No.
It should be.
There we go. That's better.
Yeah. So what was I saying? Oh, so yeah, originally, as I said before, I was doing stuff for that tank for the YouTube videos. I was doing stuff.
Yeah.
So I was buying fish to put in there. I was putting coral in there for stuff. And were they corals I wanted? Not particularly. They were just corals from the farm. Whereas now I've actually found some corals that I actually quite like that aren't from the farm that I'm started to like store up in a little section of the farm to then put in there. They're mostly SPS corals, acros and things like that. But I'm doing it for me, and I think that is what makes it so much better. Like if I'm doing it for other people, it's not my tank. I don't know if you.
No, I know exactly what you mean, and something's just clicked with me there as well, because I've with my tank, my new tank. When I spoke to Red Sea, they didn't want me to do a certain number of videos, but they were asking what videos I was going to make, and I think basically they expected me to make 4 videos. I can remember talking about 4 types of video, and I was like, look, to be honest, I'll make these videos about setting up and all that sort of stuff, and I'll cover the equipment and all that sort of stuff. But if the videos do really well, I'll keep making more videos. If they don't do very well, I'll stop making them. So I wanted them to know that, look, I'm going to make videos about it, but don't expect this to be every week for the next 6 months or But actually, what I found is that those videos aren't doing that well. They're getting about 10,000 views, which is average for me. But I'm really enjoying it, so I'm just going to keep doing it. And it's not just and like so this week was just like an overview, and I'm not rushing it. I'm not like making videos that are just about the cycle and then adding your first coral and all that. And it's
you asked for a picture of me, didn't you?
I did,
you didn't tell me why.
Yeah.
You put that picture in your latest video. And I think you put it in there to see if I watched your latest video.
I didn't know. I just put it in because I talked about you. So.
Oh, I know. I wonder if because you wouldn't tell me why you asked for a picture of me. I just thought it's probably just for your little shrine for me in your bedroom.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I was showing someone who you were, and I just clicked your latest video. I didn't actually watch it, and I was just like fast forwarding through like some of the stuff about the tank, and all of a sudden, a picture of my face came up in the bottom. I was like, "What is this about?" I now know why. But I was like, why did he not tell me what he was using that picture for? and I wasn't sure if you were testing me to see if I watched your latest video.
No, there was literally no reason. But no, and I know you don't watch them, so
Yeah,
I don't need to test that.
It was even worse this time because I watched sections of it, but not all of it.
You clicked on it. I'm happy. That's a start.
True.
And
one of those views is mine.
This will go down in as part of the monthly review.
How many of my videos have you watched?
I've made 4 videos this month, Ryan. Tell me what was in video number 3.
Well, we both know that's a lie because you only make 2 videos a month. So
I try to make 1 a week on average, but that includes my motorbike channel and my second channel.
Okay.
And I probably make 3 a month on average.
Yeah.
But anyway, but yeah, so we'll put that in your review.
I'll keep that in mind. Jay's Real Reef just asked if it's the same size as yours. Our tanks, I don't know if water volume wise, lengthwise they're exactly the same, but I think my one's wider, isn't it?
Yours is, yeah. So
that is the perfect snapshot for people to take and abuse.
Yours is wider.
Yeah,
you got more girth. So yours is 30 inches front to back. Mine is 68 centimeters, so 27.5 inches.
There you go.
You've got an extra 2.5 inches of girth, Ryan.
Good to know. Good to know. That is the bit I'm going to cut out and put on my Instagram.
Smutter side. So yeah, yours. They're similar dimensions though, but yours is actually mine's slightly taller. Yours is wider, so I bet yours is probably about 20% bigger overall water volume.
I can't remember what the water volume.
Did you measure it? I need to do that.
What, to check to see if the dimensions are right?
No. Just see. Okay, hang on. Let me calculate water volume because so my tank is a Red Sea Reefer 850, and if you look at the description, it'll say total water volume 850 liters. But I think I never quite know exactly how they do it. But if your tank is 6 feet long, it doesn't hold 6 feet of water. You knock off about 1.5 inches for the glass.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and
then 1.5 inches front to back, and then it doesn't go right to the top. It stops about 2 inches short of the top, and the sump is only half full, and all that sort of stuff. And this is excluding displacement for sand, water, rocks, all that sort of stuff. But I need to calculate whilst there's one piece of rock in it, but whilst there's almost no rock in it. No, in fact, I just need to I need to calculate, because if I measure the area that the water occupies, I can then work out roughly how much water is in there when it's full, and then I'll just need to deduct 20% for displacement. I don't know. But I'll be able to work it out. I need to do
I would be doing at the moment is I would take out your rock that's in there at the moment,
Yeah.
measure how much, so you know the exact water volume of it. And then as you add rock, you'll have to take water out, measure how much water you take out, and then lower, because then that will give you the exact amount that you need for dosing.
My plan is when I drain all this water out and fill it back up again, I'm going to fill it up empty, then put the rock in, and then remove all the salt water I don't need, and I'll measure that. But I don't know if I'll actually do that in the end. I'll try to do that, but it's one of those things, especially when you got to film stuff. So doing setting up a tank and aquascaping, all that sort of stuff is hard work.
Yeah.
Filming it at the same time, making sure you get the right camera angles, or the lighting's all right, that sort of nonsense is hard work as well. And then measuring stuff on top, it's like, do I need 3 layers of fun? But the whole point is I'm trying to go really slowly.
Yeah.
Which last time around, I was just too excited. I was like,
you are not going slowly, just so you know. I see your updates and I'm like, he's putting me to shame.
Well, to be fair, I think this is okay. This is slowly for me.
Yeah,
this isn't mega slow, but this is the classic. If you're setting up a tank on YouTube and you're making videos about it, the first one you do is setting up the tank, and it's putting the water in, the rock, the equipment, all that sort of stuff. The second one you do is cycling, then adding first fish, adding first corals, adding first cleanup crew. Yeah. So those are your 5 videos. I haven't done any of those yet. Next week, the next video is going to be.
No spoilers! No spoilers! I can't wait.
Yeah, I know you'll be watching it, but I'm trying to. So, for example, at the moment, ordinarily this weekend I just would have rammed in all the equipment, but all I've put in this week is the return pump, just to circulate the water to get rid of the manufacturing coop. Yeah. I've put a power head on. That's it, because I want to go slow.
Yeah,
and for cable management purposes, right?
Oh yes. 1 second, let me get my sunglasses.
Yeah, I know, put them on. But this is so because normally what I do is I set up a tank, I whack all the power supplies and the cables in the cabinet, and I'm like, oh, that'll do. Don't worry, I'll set it up. I'll do it properly later. And of course, you never do.
Yeah.
Then you add more and more equipment, and you just get this nest of snakes. So I'm trying to do that better this time. There are times I went looking for on like forums and on Google image searches and that sort of stuff for aquarium cable management.
Yeah.
And some people have got these pristine, they're like a white polystyrene or like polycarbonate panel with little cutouts for all their control boxes, and they look wicked. So you open the door and then it's all there pristine. It's all really neatly laid out. It's all on the same level. Looks fantastic. I'm not aspiring to that for two reasons. One, I can't be asked. It's too much effort. And two,
welcome to the club.
I know. But two, every time I see those, I think, yeah, but what if you've got to unplug one of them?
Yeah.
Because you've got to move that board out of the way, and then you've still got the nest of snakes behind it. So I think they look good.
Yeah.
But that's a lie, effectively. And I know that because every time I open the cabinet, I'll be like, oh, that's cool. But every time I got to change something, I'll be like, oh god, and I got to move it. So I don't want that, and I don't have the patience to do that. But what I did find was I want neat cables. So in the sump itself, I've bought some Amazon cable management things.
Yeah.
These plastic strips here, so you can see the cables between them. So I don't want just cables just messily everywhere. So that's those. And there's another one at the bottom there you can't really see. But what I found is that actually the cables aren't really the problem. So cable management is actually pretty easy. The part that's a problem is power supply management, the power bricks.
Yes,
They are a total pain in the ass because you've got millions of them.
Yeah.
They've usually got excess cable. So you'll have like a 2 meter cable when you only need a 1/2 meter cable, which is better than the other way around, to be fair. But that means if you've got 10 pieces of equipment with 2 meters of cabling, you've got 20 meters of cabling, of excess cabling. And then all these power bricks, there's power bricks everywhere. How do you deal with that?
You can buy smaller cables. That's what I've done with some things.
Correct. So that's one of the things I've done. So because I use DJ switches, and in fact, okay. So let me show you. So these are the DJ switches I use. This is slightly on the wonk, which I noticed today, which is really pissing me off. But anyway, so these are DJ switches, and they're just light up on-off switches. But around the back is a kettle fit plug. Yeah. Which is really good because then, like, if you get something with a big power supply, like a light or a power head or whatever, they've got a kettle fit plug. So you just throw away the plug that you got so it goes into landfill with the piece of equipment, and you buy a kettle fit to kettle fit, and it goes straight in. And with those, you can buy the right size. So I've got a load of 50 centimeters, which is 18 inches roughly, just about over, and 1.5 meter cables. So there's not excess, because some obviously need to be longer. So there's no excess there. So I've bought them. You've glossed over a little bit.
No, I was reading what Jamie's written, because he said I'll give it 6 months before you've taken them all out.
Well, this is the chop, but this is like you said earlier. If you're setting up a shop, you need to do this early and do it well, because otherwise things can go pear-shaped. And this is, don't get me wrong, in 6 months' time, and I've added more equipment or whatever, it's going to be a mess. But I don't mind if it's a bit of a mess. Yeah. I just don't want it to be a complete and utter mess. But so all my cables are currently looking nice over the sump. That's the easy part. Yeah. The difficult part is all these excess cables and all the power supplies. And I can save probably 20 meters of excess cableage, probably more, because I've got 25 plugs lined up. Yeah. So maybe 50, 60 meters of excess cableage. I can get rid of that and I've ordered a few new ones in this week, but I've still got the power supplies. So I'm splitting them. I've got a cabinet under the TV, which is where 8 of the biggest power supplies are going. And then in the main tank, in the main cabinet, I've built this shelf. So it's just a bit of MDF I bought from B&Q, wrapped in sticky back plastic, obviously with 3D printed legs, because of course, when you got a 3D printer, you print anything you can. So it's raised about 4 inches off the ground, and the idea is there's room for most of the plugs and power bricks under there. So it shouldn't be too much of a mess. I've still got to get 25 cables from under there up to the DJ switches without being messy, and it's going to be messy. But with a bit of luck, that should mean that most of the power bricks are out of the way. Some I'll have to mount on the back wall or whatever. Most of the power bricks, they will be out of the way. And you can see I've made a cutout in the corner here, so I can lift that shelf up quite easily to access it when I need to. The downside is, the whole point of that shelf is I want to put stuff on it. So in 6 months' time, there'll be dosing bottles, there'll be dosing pumps, there'll be all sorts of stuff. So when I do want to access it, it will still be a hassle. But the plan is for that to be relatively tidy and relatively easy to maintain still. There's pros and cons, and you'll notice, because power bricks will get really hot.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
When they get hot.
They will. And they will. That's unavoidable. But the reason I didn't just make this out of wood, these edges, is because I wanted ventilation. So there's ventilation like passive ventilation, but ventilation nonetheless all the way around there. So that should mitigate that somewhat. To be fair, with my last tank, I just had all my power bricks in a bundle together, and it was I'm sure they all got hot at times, and it never caused me a problem. The tank didn't catch on fire, and more likely what's going to happen is that they'll overheat and they won't last as long. So they will get hot in there, and they will get hotter than they would if they were out in the open, but I don't think it'll be a big difference. And I could just, worst case scenario, I can put a cooling fan in there quite easily, but I don't think I'm going to bother with that. I don't think that's necessary.
There you go.
But cable, I'm trying to take cable management slowly because it's a pain in the ass.
I got Jamie to do mine. That's actually true. So yeah, I did it very, very, very slowly too, by getting someone else to do it. so slowly that someone got bored of me waiting and then did it for me.
Yeah, because that's the other thing. You've got equipment mounted and on the side of the cabinet. I've not started that yet, but that's the next step. So it's all. But I can't remember if yours is tidy or.
Oh, it's exceptionally well done. It's even got these like 3D printed hanging things from the roof.
I'm sure it was good to start, but now you've had a chance to ruin it. Have you made it a mess?
It looks exactly the same. It actually does, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
pretty much. I'd say. Yeah.
I'm going to inspect next time.
It's way better than the coral farm, which is, if you look in the roof, it's an absolute just crazy up there. You cannot tell. Every so often, something will either. If I'll go up there occasionally, and then you'll step on a wire, and it will unplug a power brick, and now you're like, which power brick of these 70 has been unplugged? But it's usually that. It's usually not too bad.
So that was one other issue I had in the last one, because I had cables everywhere. When you reach into the back of the cabinet, it would unplug a power brick, and that's bad. That's bad. But what's worse is when you half unplug it. And then you just hear that arcing.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, something is going to burn my house down. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I need to find it now. So you have to turn everything off and then check which ones are plugged in. And that's what I'm trying to avoid with this. It's still going to be a mess, but I'm going to get it as neat as I can, so everything's semi-lined up. And I'm labeling everything. Because I didn't do that last time. I put I had 4 MP40s. All the power supplies were there. And I'd labeled them all MP40. That's useless. Which one is which? So now I've numbered them all and I've labeled them all. So with a bit of luck, it will be less chaos.
Jay Ellis has made a good point, which I did also thought this earlier. Like, WAMs are saying leaks.
Yeah, so that's the downside, is that I'm not getting I did actually think there's a space underneath the tank, because it's quite elevated, as probably 2 inches off and I did think I could put stuff there, but that's an absolute disaster waiting to happen. This has got potential. It could, because if the tank leaked, or if the sump leaked, it would leak onto the plugs. The chance of the sump leaking, though, are pretty much non-existent.
The chances of a protein skimmer overflowing and causing not a load of water, but just a little bit of water.
That's in the separate section, so that wouldn't happen. The only thing that will be, it's a split sump. So you can't see in that photo, but it's got a sump extension. But the only thing that will be in there is frags and a light. So I think that's fine. But it is a risk. But everybody has their power supplies on the bottom. You should create a drip loop, and I'll try to create drip loops for everything where I can, because I have had issues with that, and I've thought, God, I need to do that properly. So I'm going to try to do all of that, but it's not possible to get it all perfect, is it?
You need to. You've got like a shelf, and then you need a second really tiny shelf underneath. for the bricks,
I could do
so
that.
that water can then go underneath those just in case.
But and what I did think about doing was putting my DJ switches on the roof of the tank, because then I can create a drip loop easily. But then accessing them when you need to unplug them is really difficult.
Pain in the ass. I wouldn't do that.
That's the thing. So I think this is the best of bad situation, because really what you want is a fish room where you've got a load of space and you can do all of these things. But if you've just got a 2-foot cabinet, you've got to make sacrifices. And
true.
Fire safety is,
but you let me know.
Fire safety is the sacrifice I'm going with. So, but yeah. Oh, and Anemone has a label maker. It makes a huge difference. A label maker is one of the best things I've bought for my fish tank.
I don't have one of those, but
they're so good.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing I probably should get, but
because there are 2 reasons. So first off, I need to know. So I now label the switch on my DJ switches, the plug, and the power supply, because those are all 3 things that you need to know at certain points. And so for me, it's really useful. But also, if I'm away on holiday and my dad's looking after the tank, for example, there's 24 plugs there. Which one do I need to turn off? Is it the 4th row on the bottom, or so whereas now I can say, does it say ATO? Yeah, turn that one off. Does it say return bomb? Turn that off. So
see, it's funny because I just know just by looking at all the controls on the wall, because I've done it for so long. And to be fair, I put them in specific order. So I put the left-hand one on the left, and so I know which one is which. But I just know now off by heart. But no one else does.
No, labeling is just the way to go. I love labeling stuff. Jay's Real Reef loves label makers. So does Emma Royal.
Jay's Real Reef needs to not invest in label makers and invest in a bigger, proper tank. Is what
that's true. Actually, Jay. So I saw your tank the other day on Instagram, I think it was, and it's looking pretty. I mean, it's grown out. It looks fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But those corals, if you were keeping a dog, you got a puppy and kept it in a
coral police are coming over.
And you kept it in that small cage when it was a fully grown dog. The RSPCA would come over and take it off you.
True.
You're keeping those corals need to be in a bigger tank.
True.
Otherwise, Prestige is going to come and take it off you. So.
Actually, I got to be nice to Jay, because Jay is sorting out a frag of one of his acros that I wanted. So yeah, because we're both going to be at Love the Reef next week. So
cool. You're doing a swap.
I asked Jay what he wanted, but he didn't come back to me, so I don't know. I said just look on the website, pick what you want, and we'll swap it. And he went, "Yeah, I'll sort you a frag," and that was it. So I also said I'd pay for it as well, but I don't know. I'm not sure what's happening.
I'm just trying to find the most expensive. You got a pink boobies chalice. That
nice. Is actually quite nice. Yeah,
they're really nice, Jay. You might want that. What else could you have?
It's always weird to me that you get the white lines, because on my laptop, on every computer I've ever been on, doesn't have those white lines, but you do, and some other people do as well, and I don't know why.
A few people have said in the chat before as well. I would get. Where's that gold Goniopora? That's normally on here.
It's not on there at the moment because it's not in stock.
That's annoying. Jay, go for something expensive. Take advantage of his good nature.
Yeah. This is what happens when whenever I say I'm getting coral from someone else, you then encourage them to rinse me.
Yeah, that's it.
Because that's what happened with that the blue Fabulous I wanted. Yeah,
that's it.
No,
you're learning.
For Vites.
Whatever
it was a war coral. Yeah, for Vites.
Have I still got store credit with you? I think I've got 100 quid.
I'm sorry, it's all run out now. Since you do still have store credit, yeah.
I think I get interest on that, so it's about 200 quid now. So
no, you don't get interest. You actually lose interest. It's deflationary. Is that how it works? I don't know.
No, it's not how it works. But yeah, how do we get on there for label makers?
I'm not sure.
Anyway,
I'm looking at how much you can keep talking.
I can see you're glossing over, so we'll stop talking about cable management. But the headline is, I've taken a weekend so far, and I've not even started putting all the equipment in, but I'm planning on I'm labeling up all the MP40s. So because I did this before, I labeled my MP40s 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then I labeled the boxes, but I labeled them wrong. So 1 on the power head was 3 on the box or something. I've corrected that this time, so everything is spot on.
This is how we got onto that, because this is boring, and then I immediately distract you into something more interesting.
Such a Philistine. But but yeah, so that is that's the slow. What I'm planning on doing next video, probably in 2 weeks' time, is going to be all the equipment. That will mean that next weekend I've got to put the lights up.
Yeah.
And I bought 2 AI blades they arrived this weekend.
Interesting.
I was going to leave them.
You were sticking with just the Red Sea lights.
I think I was always likely to add the blades at some point, but the plan was to see how the Red Sea ones got on, and then buy the blades later if I wanted them. But realistically, I'm gonna get the blades because I like the blue fluorescence, and Red Sea and Kessel are the same. They don't really do fluorescence that well. They don't do that deep pop. So you need something, or in my opinion, you need something to supplement that. So
next time I come over, show me just those, because I never notice. Okay. I don't know the difference because people rave about them, and I'm just like,
what, the blades?
Do they actually do anything? Like, is it that noticeable that you're willing to pay the extra electricity?
Yeah, huge. So absolutely
next time
huge.
there, show me the difference.
Every time I put when you see the Waterbox up here, every time you see that, I put the AI blades on 100% blue.
Yeah.
And it looks. I'll show you the
I don't know what it looks like without the blades.
No, okay, fair enough. So Kessel and Red Sea deep blue fluorescence, they don't really do it.
Yeah.
Whereas AI blades and various other lights as well do it really well.
Yeah.
So if I would never have just a Kessel or just a Red Sea Reef LED, because they don't do everything I want. They're perfectly good lights, but I want that deep fluorescence. And that's one of the reasons I didn't have Kessel on the Waterbox before. Was because I wanted the blue fluorescence, and I didn't realize that you can just supplement. Well, there was no AI blade, so you can't supplement it. So I got rid of it and put a Reef Factory one on. Anyway, this is if cable management was boring you, lighting is going to bore you even more. So
no, I was because I've always wondered if it actually makes people rave about them, and anything that people rave about, I'm like, is it actually as good? Is it worth firstly the additional expense of buying them, and secondly the additional running costs? Or is it like so subtle the difference that only you notice it, like barely?
For me, the difference is big, but they are so people do rave about them, and actually, I think they're pretty limited. And I made a video review of AI blades, talking about saying, because at the time there were loads of reviews coming out, mostly on BRS to be fair, saying, and they've got an incentive to tell you the good things, but they were saying how fantastic it is. And I made the review saying, look, they are really good, but they don't do this, and this. So they're very good, but they're not perfect, which is, I thought, was the impression being given out. Yeah. But even with that being said, they're one of my go-to lights now. I think they're brilliant.
Yeah. Is that the video where it was the connection was loose?
No, my connection was fine. Telegram had one that the wire was loose. And I said in the video, look, I've seen some people online say they had issues with the cabling, and showed that mine was fine. And I think that was like an early batch. I think the first batch of them had a couple of issues, and then they fixed it. Some people had issues with you get clusters. So half of it is white, half of it is blue. Was it supposed to be all smooth?
Even
I've got 4, and I've never had that. But
there you go.
And here we go. Jay knows LPS gets so much more color pop under supplementary bars. Because he's got Reef Brights, and the Reef Brights are funny. They look really good, and I loved mine on my last tank, but they're a different color to AI blades, for example. But they do look awesome.
See, when people come to the coral farm, they say that the corals look great just under the Ecotech lights, like just under the radios.
Yeah, they do.
So what more could those lights give, if you see what I mean?
To be fair, Radions have good royal blue light.
Oh, I see. So it's actually the Kessels don't have a good royal blue, which is why you're adding to it. I see. So not everyone benefits from them if you have only certain lights. I see what you mean. Yeah.
So that my Reef Factory one looked great under white lights, and when you put it on all blue, they look fantastic. I didn't need supplement. I bought them for the spread. You don't need them. And actually, it's funny because I think it's also subjective, because I've seen lots of people say Kessel is too blue. And I look and I'm like, there's no way it's too blue. So, but they don't do. And actually, if you look at the diodes, they have 450 nanometer diodes. But for whatever reason, AI blades, Reef Brights, various others have much better blue fluorescence. The Evergrows.
Find the lights. Someone needs to invent a light which is a combination of the shimmer from the Kessel and the Reef Brights. No, the Reef Brights.
AI blades.
Yes. Yeah. And then that's like the perfect light for some people.
But that's it. It's like not most people are like, just get a Radion, it's fine. because I obsess about it. Actually, what were the Chinese panel lights I had? Evergrows. They were the fluorescence on that. It was insane. The only thing I didn't like about those lights was shimmer was rubbish. The color was amazing.
Yeah.
The fluorescence was out of this world. It just needed shimmer. Anyway, and they're getting quite expensive now. The Evergrows. They used to be quite cheap. They're not anymore. Vitamini bars. Yeah, are they? What are they called? There's an Australian company, I think. I can't remember, but you don't really see them in the UK.
Never heard.
Alex would add extra light to the sun. He would. Actually upgraded my my video setup lights today. I've got a new LED up here as well. I just like LEDs anyway.
Yeah, you like but I thought you liked the dark moody effect from the last stream.
Oh God, it was so bad when I first started playing around with the lighting. It looked awful. But what I found is, so this until recently, this was I had two lights, one of these and one smaller, and this is just it's so heavy. Every time you tap the desk, it falls down and smacks my computer. So I've swapped this out for a smaller version.
Okay. Well, you just like tinkering. You literally just like tinkering.
I do like tinkering. Yeah. Okay, so that was my week in reefing as well. Was there anything else I want to talk about? Trunking, DJ switches.
How's your gem tank?
Oh, gem tank, he's brilliant. Yeah. Oh, so I let him out about. It was less than 2 weeks. I didn't quite hold on, but I let him out about probably 10, 11 days. It was Wednesday of this week, maybe. Okay. So that was 10, 11 days. And I let him out in the morning when I came in. So this is my home office, of course. So when I got to my desk at 8 o'clock or whatever, there was ambient light, but the lights were off and were for a couple of hours. I let him out. He's a bit of a dumb.
Can we stop right just 1 second? You let him out in the morning, did you say?
I know.
So you basically completely ignored the advice that you asked for last time.
That's it. You got it.
Okay. Yeah. Good to know. Anyway,
but I figured because I wanted to be there in case there was an issue, and I was like, so my thinking was, look, it's 8 in the morning. There's not the same light as there is when the lights are on, and I can be here to catch one of them if there's a problem. But I'm sure you're right. I'm sure it would have been fine. Better to do it the other way.
Yeah.
But, don't like to listen to advice, right?
Anyway, so it's fine.
So I let him out. I opened the door to the trap, and for about 5 minutes he was like, "No, I'm not going out there, mate. I'm staying here." But then eventually he swam out. So I took the trap out, and the Tom and Tang. They'd been having a look at each other in the box for a couple of days. Tommy and Tang came over and did a bit of the old, "Oh, here are my fins."
Yeah.
But it wasn't. There was no real aggression. I'm very sensitive to aggressions, and there was a bit of posturing, and it was probably a bit stressful for half an hour for the fish, but they were fine. There was no real aggression, and after half an hour, whatever, an hour maybe, they were totally fine. And now they're brilliant. And the gem tang, the photo I took for it was through glass, algae, and an acclimation box. So it looked awful, but because he was new in a new environment, he was stressed. He'd gone pretty much black anyway, so he didn't look great. Now his white spot his white spots are right back, and they look awesome. He's looking really good. There he is, happy fella.
Good.
Yeah, it's a lovely fish. He's really cool. I like
Has it changed your feelings towards tangs?
The thing is, when I say I don't like tangs, I really like tangs. I think they're awesome. They look really cool. They do a job and all that sort of stuff. Something like yellow tang looks fantastic. It's just the aggression. I just don't like the aggression. So if these guys chill out, then I'm happy. And to be fair, the only problem I had with my purple tang before was when I put a couple-banded butterfly in.
Yeah.
And he was really nasty to him. So that's the aggression I don't like. If it's just standard, like my white-tailed coal tang, every now and then can be a bit of a dick, and he'll go and chase someone for no reason.
Oh, now you're telling me. That's in with the copper band.
Oh, he got on fine with the copper band. He was fine. The purple tang and the copper band were not fine. But
was the copper band in an acclimation box?
No.
That's the problem. That is 100% the problem.
Yeah, exactly. I ended up putting up a mirror for the purple tang, and that distracted him. But it meant that he was constantly pacing up and down the tank against the mirror reflection. Yeah. And I took it down after about a week because it was stressing the tang out so much because he was constantly thinking he needed to fight. Yeah. And I was getting worried about that fish. And then as soon as I took the mirror down, he went for the copper band as well. So I took the opportunity I rehomed him basically. So
I was going to say, I was thinking the other day, because I think you briefly mentioned it. Obviously, all your fish are here, for people who don't know, and they're in with one of my copper bands. And I think you sort of went, oh, like, I'll just take the copper band too. And I thought to myself, I wonder how much he would have to offer me to take that copper, like for me to sell you that copper band, because they're all together and it's a healthy one that's eating. And I thought, actually, there is no amount of money I don't think that I would, well, obviously within reason, there's no reasonable amount of money that I would accept, because having a healthy eating copper band is better than having the money, if you see what I mean.
I've got store credit. You've got to take it.
No, that's true. That's true.
So,
well, you definitely can't have it for store credit. That's for sure.
No, I don't want a copper band at the moment. I might. Oh, my Berkey and Nudibranch arrived, by the way. I don't think I told you that. Yeah.
That was weeks it took. They were literally breeding them when you ordered them.
Yeah. I think you. It's like when you buy a coral that's Frag to order.
Yeah.
I think they breed these to order, but they were a decent size when they came through. There were 6 of them. I put them in there, and I say they've only been in a week. But so, and there's still 2 Aptasia in there that I can see. But actually, the packaging. I'll show you the packaging. This is probably not very exciting, but the packaging is wicked.
I think I've had stuff from them before.
They come in this little box.
Yeah.
And this is the pot they came in, obviously. So just a pot like that. But the polystyrene is the perfect fit, perfect cutout for that.
Yeah. Did they come with a little like squeezy thing as well to get them out of the pot?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And then there's a little polystyrene lid that goes on top of that. And it's just I loved it. It was just wicked. I was really impressed with that. And I did think that I could use this again next time I want to sell a Zoa or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I did with mine. I used it for a coral or something at some point.
And yeah, so now I've got water everywhere. But yeah, the Bergiers are good. They're in there. They've not eaten everything, but it's been a week. So I think what happens is that the eggs. They need to lay eggs, and the eggs do the business.
Yeah.
So it's probably a month, 2 months, whatever, 6 months. Probably a process, but they're in there, and they're good. They're cool.
They're in there till you have your Wrass back, and then they'll be eaten.
I know. Well, I did. So I don't think the other stuff in there will eat them. I think Bangor Cardinal probably won't. They eat stuff in the water column. They don't go hunting around the rocks. The tangs, I think, are unlikely to eat them, but they do peck at the rocks, so not impossible, I suppose, but probably not. I've got some cleaner shrimp.
Yeah.
They're a possibility again. I think if they were peppermint shrimp or whatever, they're a big risk. Cleaner shrimp, I think, are probably okay.
Yeah.
And the other thing is a tiny little pipefish. If the pipefish was bigger, maybe, but he's tiny. So I think they'll be okay. But it's not like you can see them. When you put them in, you can see them because you know where they are, and they do move slowly. But after that, you're not going to see them again.
Yeah.
So,
I know. Yeah, I put mine in and never saw them ever again. So I don't. For all I know, they could still be in there.
yeah. Well, I hope they are. But no, they're cool. I like them. I've never had a nudibranch either. I had a yellow Seaslug. No, that's not a nudibranch. I've never had a nudibranch, and they're cool.
I see them in shops sometimes, and I'm like, stop! Like, why are these things being bought in? Because they're only being sold to people that don't know what they are. Usually,
yeah.
Because there is no long-term high success rate with any nudibranchs, as far as I know. Maybe some of them eat algae, I think.
So the one that you see most, or I see most, is the lettuce nudibranch. This one, and they look really cool, and they do eat algae. But the problem with nudies, and this, I don't know if this is completely true, but almost all nudies have, and this is why Bergiers are good. They have a very specific diet in that they eat one thing, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it's not just they eat algae; they will eat Caulerpa taxifolia instead of the other type of Caulerpa or whatever. So if you have green hair algae, might be the wrong type of green hair algae or whatever, so I think that's why, but you never really see them, but you do see those lettuce ones, and I've been tempted before because they're really cool, but it's just cool. And the only trouble with these is they're so small and they're rock colored, so I won't see them. But it's just when you've been in the hobby 10 years, you don't see new stuff very often, so having a new critter, that's really cool. I like it.
Anyway, so that's my public service announcement for this live stream. Just don't buy any nudibranchs. If you see them, they look cool, don't buy them because they'll die. So, and some of them are toxic as well, I believe. There is literally, I remember seeing one called the fish killing nudibranch. It's called that because when it dies, it releases toxin. I don't think that's its official scientific name, but that wasn't what it was labeled as. But I remember looking it up in a book, and it was literally in the book. It was called Fish King Nudibranch. I'm just going to Google it now, see if I can find it. It's blue.
Blue. Oh, interesting. fish killing Nudibranch. Scrambled egg Nudibranch.
Yeah, well, so I've typed in fish killing nudibranch and it's come up as a picture of it. It's blue with yellow yellow tips.
This one.
No, it's the second picture. It's literally the second.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Knobbed Seaslug species.
I'm not sure that's much. I'm not sure that's much better.
Have you ever knobbed a Seaslug, Ryan?
No. I've noticed there's a few things in the industry called knobs. Like there's the lesser knobbed coral, which is a Cephastria decladia. Someone asked a minute ago if I got branching to Cephastria on the website. There's 2 types on there, but that is a lesser knobbed coral. So,
can we see your tank, Alex? I think probably not because I can't work out how to do it. It's there. It's to my left.
You're not as unprofessional as me, where I just unplug everything and walk over there.
No, I can't unplug everything because my camera is a proper camera. It's on a tripod and all that sort of stuff. I can show you.
Camera, fancy.
Yeah, it is. None of your laptop nonsense.
Yeah, true.
I can show you you're probably talking about the main tank, to be honest. But
yeah, I think they probably are.
Oh, I can't even find pictures. Go on Instagram or the Prestige or the Facebook or the Reef Dork Facebook page. They're on there. So no, you can't see the tank. Otherwise, I'll be more organised next time. What else was I going to say? So yeah, that was it. Oh yeah, so you asked about the gem tank. That's everything. Cable management. Yeah, that's all done. Fine. So that means we are now on to member questions. And I'm
ready.
Oh, you're ready. Oh, here we go. He's looking to give advice, is he? Okay, cool. Right, let me just refresh to make sure I don't miss any. Oh, wow, 2 more. Excellent. I'm going to start with then the oldest one, which is from Edward. I've gone from, this is for you, Ryan. I have very limited experience with this. I've gone from 1 to 2 to, as of today, 3 bubble tip anemones. Google is useless because it says it's almost 50-50 due to starvation or overfeeding, as in splitting. His question is, what in your experience makes bubble tip anemones split? As background, the last 2 direct feedings were April 12 and April 27th. Oh, he's American, other way around. 12th of April and 27th of April. I have 4 clowns in the tank. Other fish ignore the nems. What makes bubble tip anemones split, Ryan?
I'll tag you in. No, basically, as far as I know, if it's the same as any anemone, mushrooms are anemones as well. Remember, as long as they're happy, they will split and they'll reproduce. There are situations where if they are damaged, sometimes I literally take a razor blade. If people hate it, for some reason, you can take a razor blade to an OG mushroom or anything. People are fine with it. Yeah, you tell them you take it to a bubble tip anemone, people start crying. because they're just bigger, aren't they?
Where do you cut through the mouth, or
yes? And I have tried. So with some mushrooms, you can actually cut them into 4, and they'll survive. Bubble tips do not like it if you cut them into 4. If you cut them into 2, they're fine. 4 they don't like. Like usually 2 of the 4 pieces will die. I'm not sure why that is, but in answer to your question, you don't need to feed your bubble tip. Feeding it probably to some extent will make it grow faster because you're giving it more energy. So anything you give more energy, I'll grow faster if you give me more food. So that in theory does do, outwards. That in theory will do it, but it's not necessary. Is my answer. And why are you trying to force it anyway? Just let time take it.
He's not trying to force it. He's saying they've started splitting, and he's trying to work out why they're splitting. But I've heard, so I have 3 bubble tip anemones. I've had them for about 6 months, maybe a bit longer. That's it. That's all I've had. And I've heard people say that they split when they're happy, and I've heard people say that they split when they're unhappy. And I think I don't know if people know. I don't know if we, the hobby, know the answer.
Yeah. But and the other thing that people don't know is why some of them have the bubbles and some of them don't have the bubbles. You can have 2 of exactly the same ones in a split of the same bubble tip in the same tank. And one of them has the bubbles, and one of them have lost its bubbles. You're genetically identical in the same place. What is wrong with you? But my bubble tips do really, really well. I have loads of people that want to buy them. They grow really quickly. The problem, and they have the bulbs on them. Has yours still got those bubbles on them?
Yep. Yeah. I was just looking.
Yeah, but the problem is, they stick to whatever, to the basket, and they're not always easy to get off. So I think you got lucky because I think one was
You happen to have them.
Yeah, I happen to have
Yeah.
But yeah, so in answer to your question, I don't know why mine do so well, but they split and grow really well all the time.
But I think the question is, how do I stop them splitting? And the answer is, ask someone else. Yeah, you probably can't.
No, you won't stop them from splitting, and it's good that they split because they'll move away and they'll repopulate. Depends on how many of them you want.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think he wants a tank full of it. It's like pulsing xenia. It looks wicked. I don't want a tank full of it.
Well, if you don't want a tank full of it, don't put it in. That's I watched one of Polo's videos, which I hardly ever watch any videos. I'm not even sure why I watched it, but I watched one the other day, and all his acros are now growing into each other and shading each other out. So it doesn't matter how big your tank is, you still will have a problem if you don't manage it.
I was thinking that the other day because all these colonies are growing. It looks really good, by the way.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking is, if he's in there fragging every day, or not him obviously, but like because he's got a staff, a team that run it.
I don't think he ever goes in the tank.
No. But if someone's in there, they must have to be fragging these corals because otherwise shading, flow, all these problems. So what do you do with those frags? You can't sell them, give them away. He must chuck a load of that away because it's just not possible. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so that looks like, I mean, having a normal acro tank is a pain because you've got to frag all the time. Having a tank like that where I bet corals grow quicker, especially when they get big.
It's funny with corals because you go, oh, it'll be easy to manage these. They grow so slowly. But because every piece of them is growing like a millimeter a day or whatever it is, eventually you forget about it, and then they start like getting out of control.
They grow slowly until they don't, and then when they don't, exponential.
Yeah, true.
So second question, is from Tom Bish Bash Bosh. I think it's just Tom, but YouTube brings up Tomo Bish Bash Bosh. What is the rock to water ratio when aquascaping these days? Trying to figure out how many kilograms I need without spending a silly amount on a 20 kilogram box of rock. So this is when you look back in the day when this. So I've got the Conscientious Marine Aquarist book there by Robert Fenner, and if you read that, bear in mind that was probably written 30 years ago. It will say you need 50 pounds per 100 litres, or I don't know what the ratio is, but it will tell you a ratio of pounds of rock or kilos of rock per litre of water.
Yeah,
I have never. I've tried to do, and I tried to follow that when I was first in the hobby, but when I've got away from that now, I just think, how much rock do I want in that tank?
Yeah,
because actually you don't need. Back in the day, I think that was like Berlin method when you need a load of rock and a skimmer. You don't need that anymore. Keeping nutrients down is a piece of cake these days. So you don't need a certain amount of rock. And I never think, how much rock do I need to filter my tank properly? I just think, how much rock do I want in that tank? And it can vary. So in the Cade, there's not a lot at all. It's a really low scape. On the Waterbox, that's 70% aquascape. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And on my Red Sea one will be somewhere in between. So what I do is similar to what you've done in your Waterbox. I put in what I want, what I think looks good, and that's it. So I never know kilogram. I've got no idea how many kilos of weight, but size. I like to have my perfect aquascape. So this one, the Cade is too low, and it's under halfway. I think personally for me, just over halfway is perfect. But there are some tanks that look wicked that are basically floor to ceiling rock, and some tanks that look better minimalist. So I don't think there is a rule. I just say do what you want, and I wouldn't worry about having a certain. I wouldn't worry about a minimum amount of rock you need. Personally,
yeah, it's an old school way of thinking. Basically, I can't remember the last time I cared what rock was in my tank, or thought like that. The only thing I will say. So if you think about it, at the moment, I think I've got like 12 fish, and some of them are quite big. It's very heavily stocked, the fish in the quarantine tank. Not a single rock in there, not a single piece. It's all done by a filter, isn't it? That's
the other thing I was going to say, is because every now and then I get comments from. I've set up one tank ages ago. I made a video about it, and there was no filter in it. There was just a sponge basically. And I got absolutely. There was one guy who just panned me. He's like, "No, you can't do that. All the fish are going to die. You need a filter. You need to skim all this." And it's like, no, you don't at all.
Yeah.
And there will always be someone who's like, you can't do. You need enough rock. It's got this, contains all the bacteria, all that sort of stuff. How much rock is in your farm?
None.
Exactly.
Well, there'd be some, but not like under
4,000 liters of water.
Yeah.
10 kilos of rock.
Probably. Yeah.
That's true. Are all your corals and fish dead?
No.
Go look at a Tidal Gardens video. How much rock do you think he's got? I don't know if he's got it in his sum, to be fair, but live rock is good. Rock is good, of course, but it's not essential to have a certain number, certainly in my opinion, of kilos per litre.
The only other thing to mention is if you're worried, there are things that have the aquascape you want, and if you're worried about the home for bacteria, there are filter media options like max spec blocks or things like that you can have that will do the same job.
I don't like this. I find that they end up crashing my nitrates.
That's exactly what I have realized as well. That's why I started with 3 blocks in the coral farm, and I slowly but sure I took them out one at a time because my nitrate was getting too low.
On my peninsula, my old tank, I put in a load of Cyprax to start with, and I was putting out bags all the time. I still had some in at the end, but I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah.
9 kilo per 100 litres. An alternative view.
There you go.
But I don't really pay any attention. I just do what I think looks good, basically, with an aquascape.
Wait, not 9 kilo per 100 litres. Why don't you just go 1 kilo per 10 litres? I know it's not the same, but increase it by a kilo and make it easy.
A round number. But the thing that I do look for with aquascapes is coral placement, easy coral placement. So all of my aquascapes at the moment, they're man-made, but they've got frag plug holes in them. But I also designed them this time around, so they were the prongs and all the coral plug holes are a long way apart, so corals have got room to grow. It's all at a nice angle, so they're not all just like, if you've got a sheer rock face, which I had in my first tank, you can't attach coral to it. It's a nightmare. Well, if you need space for a fish to hide, these are our aquascape ones, which, actually thinking about it, I've got in all 3 of my tanks now. They're brilliant. They're really good. I've never had it in so much as a discount. They're brilliant. They all have hiding places for fish. They're not just like the minimalist negative scape ones. They're kind of the best of both worlds, or the ones that I have anyway are. So yeah, you want space for fish to hide. You want space for corals to grow. You want easy coral placement. Nice smooth angles look better when they're covered in corals as well. But those are the things I look at. I don't really pay any attention to weight.
Just make sure the aquascape is what you want from the very, very beginning, because if it's not, you will never be satisfied with it. And that's what I realized about the Waterbox. I wasn't happy with the aquascape I did in it. And for months and months and months, I wasn't happy. And immediately when I redid it, I was like, actually, I really like this now. And every time I look at it, I go, I really like this now. So it gives you something.
Because I thought I'd set my Peninsula 500 up the way I liked it. But actually, I was never happy with it. And I took out about half of the aquascape in the end, and ripped out and replaced it, maybe even more.
Yeah, half it came here.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. So yeah, and even then I wasn't happy with it. So yeah, get it right to start with. Spend time.
Yeah.
And actually, so you said you didn't want to buy a 20 kilo box. I know you don't want to hear this, but the best thing to do is buy more than you need. And then you can try it. You can go into a shop, and if you're going on like a Monday morning, it's quiet. They'll let you play around with the rock and set up how you like. And that's good, but there's no substitute for getting a load of rock and just playing it around. If you've got a week or a weekend or whatever at home, play around with it. Ideally, if you've got a friendly local fish shop, they might say, look, bring back what you don't use and we'll weigh it and give you a discount. But it's the best way to do it. But
see, when I did the aquascape, the original one, I did it literally in like an hour, and you can tell. Whereas this one, I did over probably 3 days, where I would just do a little section of it and go, I've had enough now. I don't really fancy doing this anymore. I like that bit. And then I would walk away, come back, redo it a little bit, go away, come back, and tweaked it. And that, I think, is very important.
That is how to do it. Because I did the same. I spent more than an hour. I probably spent a morning or a day or whatever on my Peninsula 500 tank. And I got it to the point that I thought, this is wicked. Yeah. But I wasn't happy with it. And but there's no harm in just leaving it, going back the next day with a fresh view on it, and you're like, oh, actually, no, I don't like that. That's so good to have the patience to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy just to go now.
No, I remember I have a very, very short attention span. So,
Yeah.
so it was literally one section at a time. That'll do.
That's good. That's a really good way of doing it, to be fair. But yeah, I can't really give, because what I think the question really is do I buy 10 kilos, 20 kilos, or whatever? You know, how much do I need? The best thing to do is buy it in a shop, because then you can see it, and you can see the rock is this big, and my tank is Y big.
Yeah.
That's what I need. So I wouldn't buy it online. And if you're buying it in a shop, you can't see the angles, you can't see what it's going to be like for coral placement, all that sort of stuff. So, but then you can still get a good. I got sent with the Reef Casa. They just send you a bunch of rock, and it's just random rocks, and it's still, the scape looks all right in that. It's fine. That's a small tank, to be fair, but you can still do it well. But next question is from Gary McConnell, who says, "Sorry, Ryan, any suggestions for cheap LED for Frag?" Yeah, I was wondering why he's apologising.
Don't say sorry. It means I don't have to talk for a while, so I'm good.
You put your glasses on, mate.
Yeah.
Any suggestions for a cheap LED for a 30-litre Frag tank, trying to clean up the main display? Reef Bright, the little Reef Bright 9-inch strip, I think they're pretty good. If you want even cheaper, the Reef Casa has, they call it a Reef Halo, but it's actually an Aquanite V2. I think that's about 90 quid. So it depends what you mean by cheap. If you want cheaper than that, probably second hand. I would go for anything like that. The Aquanite V2, I mean, my cars aren't going that fast, but it's because I'm neglecting the tank. But the light looks wicked, to be fair. So, but what's his name? Telegram is probably best for budget lights, because I just buy Kessels. But the Aquanite V2 is really good. Or the little, for a 30-litre Frag tank, to be fair, a 9-inch Reef Bright strip would do really well. You just put it on a plug timer, it's on and off. We're back in the room. Look at you nodding. You're like, oh, yeah, lights. I know lights, yeah.
I was actually reading the last comment, and I was just thinking that is a terrible idea. Why would you want to do that?
Can you putty? Oh, no, don't do that.
No.
I think you wouldn't be able to, would you? I think.
They do have the very, very center underneath of them is usually is the coral skeleton.
Yeah, but how would you actually, like, because to putty something, you need to mechanically push
you could glue it. You could glue it.
Right, okay. Okay.
But don't do that. That is a terrible idea. One of the nice things about fungi is that they can actually move, and it's cool to like see them like move a couple of centimeters around. And don't put them on a rock either, because they don't want to be on rocks. Although I think in the world actually that might not be true. That might be a myth that I still believe. I think fungi might actually not come on from areas where there's sand, and they're on like rocky areas. I've
seen scullies on rocks in the wild under mental flow as well, by the way.
Yeah.
But I don't know about fungus. I always put them on the. Well, I say I always. I mean, bought them recently, but I have my fungus on the glass.
Yeah, and I would always have them on the sand as well. But interesting. I might look into that, because I always find it interesting when I believe something is true as a fact, only to then go, actually, fungus are on rocks.
Yeah. But yeah, so I've never seen anyone glue it, but I wouldn't do that personally. We're going to interject the member questions quickly,
okay?
Because we have a Les question, a mod question. I want to find a way to get to include Les in the member questions. I just can't think of how to get anyway.
Let him be a member.
Well, no, I can't.
YouTube
doesn't let you gift membership. Well, I don't think it does anyway. I'm pretty sure that's right. Anyway. Guys, can you recommend a small Wrass for an 80-litre tank to combat flatworms? Ryan, your favourite one?
Well, my favourite one was the Melanaris, but that will get too big for it.
No, your second favourite.
Oh, a possum Wrass, as you're going to say. Yeah, you said on the live stream the other day, I was listening, that the possum Wrass is always my go-to Wrass, and I was like, that is not true. It is one of my favourites, but it's not my. If you said to me what my number one Wrass would be, it would be a Melanaris.
I see.
But possum Wrass are up there, with one of the top 5.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the live stream I was late for, and I went back and watched it just to see how you did.
Yeah, I don't like doing it on my own. I kind of do, because you get to read the chat properly, but it's better when it's
like I know you don't want to build up my my ego. It's okay. It's okay.
No. All right. So, and the final question for members is Shamila Butters, who says she's got all 3 questions. So we've got number 1: Can I apply today's topic to PC cable management? So for PC, because I've got 2 lights, 2 microphones, a camera, 2 PC screens, a PC, an XLR input. I've got millions of things in this. I've got lights here. I've got cables everywhere. And one of the really good things I have, there's a net underneath my desk, and that's where all the power supplies go under there. But some people have really neat PC desk setups. I've watched YouTube videos on it, and most of them have some kind of space underneath the desk for power supplies, power bricks. Why are you shaking your head?
Because you've reached a new low. Like, you watch everything on YouTube, and now you're telling me you watch YouTube on like tiny computer desk setups.
Yeah,
like that is like a new level of low for me.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
can't you be normal and watch like cat videos?
Cat videos, for God's sake. I do watch cat videos, but yeah. So yeah, there's loads of. I would just some kind of under desk power brick thing, but
it wouldn't surprise me if one day you're like, oh yeah, I just occasionally just watch this channel where they just change people's tires. I'm like, why?
Why not? I don't want. Do you want to know the last sort of 5 videos I've watched on my?
I'm not sure I want to know what the last 5 videos you watched are.
Nothing dodgy. That's not on my Reef Dork channel. History. Let's have a look. Oh, it's all music videos, to be fair. It's all music videos. A video about fast wide-angle lenses.
Exciting.
One about a mobile phone.
Exciting.
Mixed martial arts. A studio tour of some dickhead YouTuber. And then the war in Ukraine. So that's a split section of the random nonsense I watch. William Spaniel, you watch that channel as well.
That's the Ukraine one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really.
I've not watched it for a long time, to be fair, but yeah.
I watch all of his videos. He's got really interesting insight. Anyway, question number 2. Ryan, are you excited for Love to Reef next weekend?
Yeah. I'd say I'll be honest with you. I don't really get, even when people say to me, "Are you excited about Macna?" I don't get excited before. I get excited when I'm there or on my way there, if you see what I mean, rather than like I don't know. I just don't look forward to things. And maybe that's quite a sad way of being, but I've always been the same. I was literally thinking this earlier. Like, I don't really book holidays in advance. I usually book a holiday a week before I go, or sometimes the night before I go.
That reminds me.
I know. I just saw the look on your face, and that makes me uncomfortable. I
saw a text this morning with I looked at it again with some suggested dates. I'm going to get back to you. I meant to check with the missus.
Well, that did not come to me, that message, so I don't know what you're talking about. That must be a private message.
No. It was in the group. Woody's gamer tag. It's not a reefer. There is a Ukrainian reefer. What's his name? He's in Canada. Dmitry Tumanov. Something Corals. Tell me in the chat. Someone will know who it is. But it's William Spaniel. Spaniel like the dog is the name of it. But he does stuff on. He's a social scientist and he talks about the theory of war and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I can't. What's the guy's name? Coral, something Corals. Treasure Corals. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, Treasure Corals. There is a Ukrainian reefer, and thanks, Reef Kapura. Third question, sorry, from Shamila Butters is: are Aptasia eating peppermint shrimp really Aptasia eaters? And if so, how quickly can they eat it? Yeah, they are. So they're not called Aptasia eating peppermint shrimp as such. They're just called peppermint shrimp. You've got to be a little bit careful. If you Google, there's a photo that's got done the rounds on Facebook and on Ultimate Reef and all that sort of stuff, with 8 different photos, and there's probably millions more of types of very similar shrimp.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name. Lidmata. There's a proper scientific name, and they all look really similar. And that's not even getting into like camel shrimp that look quite similar. So there's loads that are that look very, very similar indeed, and they're not all the Aptasia eating type. But if you go to a good shop, they will sometimes they have them with Aptasia in there. You can literally see them eat them, but you've got to be able to find the right one. But they very much do eat them. How quickly do they eat it? How long's a piece of string? Sometimes they'll like day one they'll be like, I'm having that. Other times for 6 months they'll do nothing.
I'm interested in I know occasionally I like to ask the chat things. I'm interested. Does anyone have a camel shrimp? Because I think I've said this on a live stream previously. Camel shrimps have no place in this hobby at all, because they can't go into a reef tank because they eat coral, and they can't go into a fish only tank because most fish only tanks are filled with fish which eat shrimp. So they have no place if you think about it.
We'll come back onto that. If you've bought a camel shrimp, put it in the chat. This is amazing. James gifted 5 Reef Dork memberships. I don't know how that works. Thank you, James. That's really kind. I don't know how that works, but I'm going to find that out because then there are 5 Reef Dork memberships up for grabs. So I must have a. There must be in my
pick me.
I know. In my YouTube behind the scenes thing somewhere, it must give me a code or something I can give out. That's wicked. Cheers. I'll figure that out. I'll have a look. Yeah. Thank you. That's really kind. And Reef Keeper might have had one.
Yeah,
you might have snapped one up.
Yeah.
Let me have a look and see. If you click on it, I wonder if you click on it, go to channel. Oh no, I can put you in a timeout.
People are saying, well, you put me in the timeout.
Oh no, it says on the YouTube chat, it says Reef Keeper, Rigsby, Steve Silver, James Cremoni, and Jay's Real Reef have got it. So there you go.
Gifted them to specific people. That's cool.
Or maybe you click at the first 5 people.
Oh, Les didn't get one.
I know. But we'll figure that out. Les, text me actually on a Sunday evening. Text me any questions you've got.
Or chopped liver.
Instagram.
That's what Les has written.
What's that?
Les has written, "What am I, James? Chopped liver?" Because obviously he didn't get one. He was the reason we asked about it.
Click on the $ sign in the chat. Yeah, it's too late. Unlucky. YouTube automatically gives them, but I can't pick. Oh, well, there you go. And actually, so now you'll be able to see. So YouTube membership. I set YouTube membership up on this channel is very much a support the creator thing. You don't get a lot back, but I've tried to set it up so you do get some things. So you get early access to all my videos. I put them upload. I don't put them behind a paywall, so it's not delaying it for other people. They're still every Friday. Yeah. If you're a YouTube member, you get to see it as soon as I upload it, basically, which is usually a day or two before. You get emojis for the live stream, specific ones, and you get to ask. I every week, usually quite late in the week, but on the community section of my channel, I post members ask any questions you want, and we'll answer them in the live stream. So make sure you look out for that post and ask any questions that you want. And next week we'll have 5 more questions. Okay. That is the member questions complete. Let me just refresh to make sure no one's added in anymore. They have not, which means we're on to the Prestige Reef Fish of the Week.
I have got a Fish of the Week this week.
Oh, look how pleased with yourself you are.
Yeah. I've gone for a Potter's Leopard Wrass this week because I think they are called...
Oh, Potters, yes.
They're Hawaiian. Like this one.
They're Hawaiian, right?
They are Hawaiian, yes.
Potters. Yeah, Potters. Yeah, Potters.
They're like orange and blue, aren't they?
Oh God, I want that. I want that so bad.
You can't get them, can you?
No.
I think because they're Hawaiian.
There's a shop near me called Aquatic Emporium in Shepperton, which is West London, East Surrey, and they have, I think they still have it. They have one of these in their display tank that they won't sell, unfortunately. I asked if they would ever sell it, and obviously they don't want to, which is pretty understandable. That's a bad photo, but the Potter's Wrass that is my favorite ever Fish of the Week. That's it.
I had a feeling you'd like that one. They don't have a very good survival. Similar to all of that type of wrasse, they don't have a very high survival rate.
Yeah.
And it's similar to the Potter's Angel, actually. I wonder why they're named similar. Is it because of the color, or is it because they were named by someone called something Potter? I
think it's the guy was called Potter, but it's funny that he found the 2 of them.
Yeah.
Because but anyway, whatever. If he's in Hawaii, I guess.
Yeah, but I just thought that would be something you like. It probably has very similar care requirements. I've never had one myself. I remember seeing them in shops, but you just don't get them anymore because of the Hawaii ban. So
yeah, that's my. I think if you could, I might be going too far here, but if you could offer me pretty much any fish, I'd have one of them. Well, they're amazing.
It's similar to the black wrasse it would be a nice contrast to the black one that I've got here of yours.
Yeah,
I saw one of those in a shop today, and I was like, and it was eating and everything. It was only little. When I went, nah, I don't want the hassle.
Yeah,
but it's quite expensive.
How much was it?
£60. I don't know if that's a normal going rate for them or not.
I can't remember how much I paid for mine. It was a couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, good, excellent fish of the week. That's a vast step up on the crap eel that I chose last week.
Well, you definitely chose it. So, and for the coral week, I'm going to go for a New York Knicks torch coral because I think it's one of there's a lot of.
You've got one on your website. This is a cynical ploy to sell.
Actually, isn't it? Because I'm not even sure. Is it still in stock? Might.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I think Jamie might be after that. So.
Is it still in stock? I didn't realise.
No, I think Jamie's after that. I think I've only got one left. So.
Okay, you better be quick. Create a full sense of urgency.
No, he's either after that or a Dragon Soul, and the Dragon Soul was the one I was going to go for. But the New York Knicks is one of the most unique looking torches. Most torches are like a variation of like green, whereas those are properly like gold colored, as you can see. And how do you feel about this picture I've taken, which I took yesterday, I think, on the day before?
Very good, very good. The only thing with those is that they are lovely, but they're not as nice as the Aussie gold ones, which are more gold.
They are they are fully gold. Those ones with white tips on them, aren't they? Where like I haven't seen one of those for a long time, like the proper Aussie gold ones. Yeah,
that's the point. No, I've actually. But I bought one of these from you.
What, one of the New York? Did you? I didn't know that. I can't remember.
A long time ago, I saw it on you posted a video.
You got a thing for killing torches. Have you still got it?
No, it's dead.
That was nothing to do with me. Let's just clarify.
I had it for a long time I say a long time, 6 months, a year for me, for a torch long time. I've got 2 left. This one here I bought from you. You can't see it. It's really nice, actually. The other one I've had for a couple of years and I washed the colours out. I've talked about it a few times. But I've got 2 torches left. They're both looking okay, but not super healthy. There was a video, you wouldn't have seen it, of course. Yorkshire Reefer did he's really good. He did a video on Reefer Palooza the other week.
Yeah. Actually, I think I did see that video because I was interested because I was thinking about going to that show. I think
it looked wicked, by the way, Reefer Palooza. It made me think I want to go. You're not that bothered?
I remember I've been to like 4 or 5 of them, so they're all roughly the same. For me, the most is when they bring out new products, that are exciting.
Do you like equipment?
Like equipment I've not seen. Remember, you can't take any coral, so you can only go and see stuff you've not seen before.
Yeah.
And it's quite nice to film some. Really, you do see some very, very unique corals. I saw a Frankenstein bounce mushroom, which was like this big once. And that will stick with me forever because the balls on it, like the bouncers, were like that size.
Yeah.
They had these big pink balls. So I like that. So so you do see some interesting stuff. But if you've never been, well worth going. 100% worth going.
It looked wicked. But so Stefan, the guy who made the video, Yorkshire Reefer, was saying the same thing. He was like, it's so frustrating because I can't take anything home. Yeah. But the reason I was saying, I can't remember the name of the shop. It was a shop in America that I've heard of, but it's not like worldwide corals that you hear about them all the time.
Yeah.
It was I can't remember, but they grew torches and they hadn't bought a torch coral for 5 years because they just grow them out. And the flesh band on this thing.
Yes, I did see it.
It was huge. And like on mine, there's I don't know, half an inch if that of flesh band. And it's not very thick. But this was like massive, thick, looks so healthy. Mine don't look like that.
I see. I know how you wanted me to come on holiday with you and Jamie. Pick one of the Reefer Paloozas or Macnas. I'll be there. There you go.
How much money do you think I have, Ryan?
Well, if you stop buying lights, probably loads.
That's very true, actually. Lights and cameras and microphones. But yeah, so I do like the New York Knicks. So that is, I approve of that as a coral of the week, but I wouldn't buy one because I'll kill it.
See, if you look at the Dragon Soul that's on there, like it just is a bit like that's the one. Yeah, it's just green. If you see, it's not that overly different to. That's not a great photo because to be fair, it isn't. I couldn't get a photo of them.
They look nice. I've got that. It looks much golder in the flesh. That's not a fair representation.
Yeah,
and I actually think the Dragon Soul looks really nice.
Okay, boss, I'll go back and redo the picture for you.
It's hard to get the photos. Yeah, you only got 2 of them.
Yes, I got. Yeah. So Emma has pointed out Ryan throwing shade. Emma, is this your first time? Because Ryan throws shade all the time.
What are you throwing shade at?
I don't know. I can't remember. But
But yeah, nice coral. So that's the Prestige Reef coral of the week that will die within a month of you buying it.
Oh, why would you say that? I'm like shamelessly plugging.
So to be fair, I think I've probably got less than a 50% success rate with torches.
I wonder why.
30%. I don't know.
Because I don't have a less than 50%. Some of the torches I've had in the farm for ages, like long.
My parameters are fine, Ryan.
Oh yes, I'm sure. Fine, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, they're notoriously finicky, aren't they? And what I do find is there have been times when my parameters have not been fine.
Yeah.
A lot of corals will sulk. Torches will really sulk. So I'm not saying they're a canary in the coal mine, but with most corals don't like bad parameters. Torches hate bad parameters, like an urchin. If your salinity's off, in my experience anyway. But yeah, if I bought one, I'd buy one from a hobbyist who's had it for years. But anyway, it's just one of those things. So that is the fish of the week, and that is the coral of the week, which means we are on to the news. And
you smiling?
Because you and I were doing this. So when the news jingle was playing, you took the opportunity to like wipe your eyes.
Yeah, I didn't know you could still see me. No, I couldn't find my eye drop, so my eyes are like terrible, which is why I'm blinking like this every 5 minutes. So.
And I took the opportunity to let out a yawn.
Oh, nice.
Because I'm still tired today. I'm always tired today. Can you not see our pictures, me and you at the bottom?
I can see me. I can't see you.
Oh, I can see us both.
Oh, well.
Privileges. News. There's not a massive amount of news today. So I've made up some news.
Good idea.
And I don't mean I'm fabricating. I'm not making up a gossip for lying about something. But I've discovered the news myself. And I'm just going to go onto the channel. What is the first thing you notice? Well, you probably won't spot it, to be fair. When I bring up the Bulk Reef Supply YouTube channel.
I'll
give you a clue.
Is the 300,000 subscribers?
BRS, yeah, that's right. BRS TV, the main BRS channel, hit 300,000 subscribers, I think, this week.
Yeah.
Which is a phenomenal in our hobby. That's a phenomenal achievement. 2,000 videos, which means it's more than 2,000 videos. Unfortunately, not a lot lately, to be fair. And we all know that Ryan's stepping back. But 300,000 videos, subscribers, phenomenal. Seriously impressive. Well done, BRS. Amazing effort. 108 million views.
Wow. That is a lot.
Do you know how many I've got?
8.
Let me have a look. 11.
8 million, just 8.
No, 11 million. So 10 times what I've done. But yeah, just phenomenal. Well done, BRS. Incredible achievement. 300,000 subscribers is phenomenal. I know that was well worth a mention. Next thing, there is an article on reef builders at the moment. I can't phrase it that way. I read an article the other day, and it said Vibrant is bad for your aquarium.
Interesting.
That is Vibrant from Airwick. So there is these air fresheners. There's one that they call Vibrant.
I see.
And this is an article on air fresheners on reef builders. It's nothing to do with Vibrant, the aquarium.
Yeah. I'm trying to find something which I will mention in a minute. That's why I look distracted. It is actually for the news.
We'll come back onto that. But there's evidence that basically the summary of this article was that there's evidence to suggest, in conclusion, I believe there is considerable evidence to show that fragrance chemicals and the way they break down in the aquarium are harmful to the chemical and biological balance of your aquarium. So basically, if you've got one of these spraying air fresheners, air fresheners in your living room, in the same room as you got a tank, you might want to get rid of it. And he starts with a story about a dentist's office who had one of these. A load of their corals were sulking. They got rid of that, put in a load of carbon, did a water change, whatever, and suddenly everything went back. So, and I hate anything that's sprayed or whatever in the same room as the aquarium. I don't like it.
Yeah, I had someone spray hairspray in in the guest room the other day
it was
with the quarantine tank, and I was like, no, because you obviously other people don't get it, so you freak out, going, no, don't do that, and the other person's just like, I'm just
what?
Yeah, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was funny because I remember it.
But there you go. So air fresheners, excuse me, are bad. I need to play the jingle again. Air fresheners are bad. Ryan, what's your news?
So this isn't actually reef-related news, but it is fish-related news, and I can't fully find it. I'm assuming they're freshwater fish. I saw an article on a fish called the Devil's Hole pupfish, and the reason I found it so interesting, pupfish, is because these fish live in basically in a cave, and they live in a pond in this cave. And the entire population of this species lives in like a 12-foot square. That's it. Imagine that being the entire population of like tigers or something. Obviously not tiger, but you like think about it, like how fragile that must be, that ecosystem for that fish. Because our tanks are basically like half the size of that. If you think about mine's 6 foot, yours is 6 foot. So if you think 12 foot by 12 foot is not that big for the entire population of the species, you'll obviously think it's boring, but I found it really interesting when I read the article.
It's cool, but and actually that's a better photo, but it's a boring fish.
Yeah, it's not an exciting fish, but it's like I think the population once fell to 35. There were 35 left, and they recently that's the article I read.
Okay.
It looks like a damselfish.
River, is it? Ocean. I'm trying to find out if it's no, it doesn't say if it's fresh or saltwater, but okay.
I suppose it's in a cave, isn't it?
Yeah,
so they're more likely, I guess, to be freshwater.
Okay,
I don't know is the honest answer, but I saw it the other day and I was like, I must mention this to you because I found it interesting.
Cool. I don't know but they live in an 11-foot by 16-foot shallow shelf.
Oh, you found it, because that was the bit I was trying to find. Yes. So isn't that like insane that an entire species lives in what essentially is a pond?
Yeah, that is pretty insane, to be fair.
So I obviously found it more interesting than you, but I just thought it would be cool to mention to people.
There you go. If anybody found that interesting, let us know in the chat.
If anyone found that more interesting than cable management, let me know in the chat.
No one found it interesting.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Next piece of news is a hybrid tang. I'm sure we had this recently. Did you see this one?
This is the purple scopas, isn't it?
Yeah, purple crossed with a scopas. I hate, by the way, purple X scopas, and this is not unique to reef builders. Yes. Everybody uses X as crossed with these days.
Yeah.
It just I don't like it. Anyway, old man rant over. Purple tang crossed with a scopas. Are you excited about that?
Not really. Not really.
I don't think there's a price.
Probably not. I mean, what you do is you pick a shit fish and a cool fish, and then you breed them together to create another shit fish.
The purple tang is quite a cool tang. A scopas is not, so mix them together. But there are loads of like scopas type of hybrids, and they're just
they're not. You're talking about the ones that are like blue, I'm assuming, or there are some hybrid. Actually, they're hybrid yellow.
Like you get like some fish that come in as koi tangs. They're just like bad scopas.
Don't know. It doesn't do it for me. For whatever reason, whenever you breed a purple tang with anything, it doesn't create a better fish. It's what I've noticed.
Sometimes, but anyway. So this is actually there's three were bred in. I didn't read this. 3 of them were bred in January. So there's 3. So if you're into that sort of thing, and 1 is in the UK, AAC. I don't know where the other 2 are. These are captured bred tangs we brought into the UK from the USA. Also, 3 are in the UK from the looks of it. So there you go. If you want a purple crossed with a scopas tang,
is there a price?
It doesn't say the price. It talks about the price for the Yerpal, I think.
Yeah.
So what's your guess? Ours was purple crossed with a gem tang back in 2004, and that was 10 grand. The British Fish Farm sale for 6 grand. So I don't know. But that's
what purple with a gem tang looks like.
They're fairly similar.
Yeah.
Because anyway, whatever. There you go. if you got roughly £6 to spare, you can buy a rubbish version of a purple tang.
Did we steal the people that said I was really interesting?
What?
There were loads of people in the chat saying about that pupfish was really interesting.
Can't see anyone there. No.
No.
I found it interesting. Yeah, but he's talking about the cable management. Conscientious Reefer also found the cable management interesting.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
David Ruck says Prestige. The cable management was more interesting. Yeah. Sorry, no one said that was more interesting. All cable management.
Oh, must hurt you. It just must hurt you, like inside, when this sort of thing comes up.
They all said that they prefer my story. So. Yeah. And the final piece of news is an aquarium heater.
Okay, this is definitely more interesting. Wait, what new thing have they done to aquarium heaters to make this in the news?
They have actually done something different. It's from a company called Cheiros.
Okay.
Looks like churros, but pronounced differently, presumably. I don't know how you do pronounce it. This is a company who I think they're mostly freshwater, and they they released a light about a year or two ago. But it was a rip off of a Radion. It looks identical to a Radion. I did a live stream about it. I can't remember if you've seen it. Anyway. But it's an inline heater. There are a load of. It looks like this basically. There's a load of features. It says there's some weird things in here. It's got dual temperature control for more reliable monitoring. It says dry run protection, which is a good thing, and overheat protection. But the overheat protection, it says they don't know if this was a typo, but the overheat protection kicks in at 35.8 degrees C.
Oh, nice. Just what you want.
By which time your house is melting, basically. So,
yeah.
But it's a new thing. This is what it looks like, and it's an inline heater, so water flows through it. I think basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. New heater. That is the news. And I've lost the logo. Not the logo, the jingle. And what else? I think that's everything. Ryan, is there anything else you would like to discuss before we let these people go back to their evenings?
Let me look at my list. No, I think I've covered everything. Yep, I'm all good. Good.
All good. Right.
Yep.
Well,
I'm going to tell everyone to go buy some coral. That's what I'll do. Go buy some coral. Makes me happy after the live streams when my phone goes. It's true. You want to make me happy? Buy some coral.
Whilst you're at it,
yeah, it's true.
Buy yourself a Reef Dork 3D printed Hannah saltwater refractometer holder.
Just make sure you buy the coral first, because if you run out of money, we both know that what you're going to want, what you'll get more enjoyment out of.
Equipment.
True. Yes.
And on that note, thank you all for joining, guys, and we will see you next week.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.